Hello and welcome back to the channel. These are the play ratings for Arsenal vs Liverpool last night. And overall thoughts on the game was, going into the game, I wasn't expecting a win. I was more looking at the performance more than the result, and to see how we can handle ourselves playing against the very best like Liverpool. And overall, I think that we done quite well. We didn't embarrass ourselves, especially in that first half. Just like the Man City game, we went toe for toe with Liverpool. And apart from the early chances they had from the corner and that very late chance at the end of the half, we stopped Liverpool's attack quite well, and we even had the opportunities of ourselves to attack. And going into the second half, Klopp made some tactical changes at half time, and Liverpool were a bit more direct, like with the Mane offside goal. But I still think overall we done quite well at the beginning to shut them out, and it was just that Ramsdale mistake that this started that 10 minutes of madness where we just lost our heads a bit and we just couldn't control the game that well. But overall, it wasn't a bad game, and it's more about how we bounced back on Saturday against Aston Villa. As I thought Arteta done quite well just to protect some of our players and take them off when he realised the game was over at 2-0. So going on to the play ratings, moving on to Ramsdale. I thought Ramsdale, he had a mixed game because with his feet, he was very good. He was popping the balls into Martinelli quite well, and also to Saka. But when it came to that to the goal, keeper shouldn't be getting beat at his near post like that, and he should have had a stronger arm to it. And even just after that, with the kick, and it bounced off Bobby Firmino. So I'll give him a 5 based on the goal, as it wasn't his best performance, but distribution-wise, he was still quite good. Then moving on to Tierney. I think Tierney done quite well in this game, as well as he can do when you're on the losing side. As at first he had to deal with Mane, as Mane had to play on the right, and I thought he locked up Mane quite well. There was times where it was a one-on-one sprint with the Tierney and the person on the right-hand side, and Tierney was winning that race. And no, they weren't able to beat him on that side at all. And even going forward, he was able to go forward a little bit, but not too much. Overall, I gave him a 7 because he was solid. And I moved on. Gabriel's game was okay. I feel like he could have done better for the second goal, to just come across Firmino a bit more. But overall, his game wasn't bad. He was defensively good when we had to be. His passing was fine, and I feel like he had a better game than he has been recently, as he's been struggling passing wise in the last couple of games. But overall, I give him a 6 out of 10. He didn't do anything too bad. Moving on to Ben White, I feel like he had a better game than Gabriel, especially in the first half when his passing was really good. He was able to clip some balls into Saka quite a lot of times, and overall, he didn't really have a bad game. On the first goal, it wasn't really his fault. He was trying to mark Cedric's guy a bit, and also on the second goal, I feel like he could have done a bit better with Gabriel in this covering that side. But overall, I give White a 7 of that game. And then moving on to Cedric, I feel like it was tale of two halves for Cedric, because in the first half, when we were doing quite well, Cedric was also doing well. He was able to get up quite a lot. He was dealing with Diaz, and he was having no problems at all, really. And then into the second half, I felt as Liverpool changed their tactics, they targeted him more. And you can see that for both goals, as Jota was able to get in between White and Cedric for their goal. And also for the second goal, when Saka had the ball, or even before Saka had the ball, Cedric was bombing up the field that left his space open. So overall, I feel like for the second goal especially, if we had Tomiyasu, that goal wouldn't have happened, as he's not as attack-minded, so he wouldn't have just bursted up straight away like Cedric did. But overall, I'll give him a 5 for that, or I'll give him a 6 because his first half was quite good. And now going into the midfield with Partey, I thought Partey was brilliant today. He controlled that midfield well, like he did against City. His passing was good, and especially knowing how much Liverpool press and how much pressure they put on you, it was going to be a test to see if Partey could play around that, and he done really well. Especially in the first half, there was a time when he chopped inside and he left 2 players and passed it into Odegaard for a counter attack. So overall, Partey he's just improving week in, week out, and he's becoming our best player and our most important player. And I'll give him a 7 for that game as well. Moving on into Xhaka. Xhaka didn't have a bad game either. He didn't do anything stupid. His passing was fine. Defensively, he wasn't a liability. He was helping out with the attack as well. So I just give him a 6. And Odegaard, as expected, when you come against better teams, they targeted him a bit more with Thiago, and I felt like it wasn't one of his better games, but he was still effective. He was still quite effective when he had the ball. There was just a bit of miscommunication between him and Saka at times. Especially this one pass when we were breaking away, and he had the chance to play in Saka, but just the link-up play wasn't working. So I'll give him a 6 for that game. Moving on to Saka, and this wasn't one of his best games. As I said with Odegaard, Saka and Odegaard's ability to link up wasn't on point as much as it has been recently, and that's also due to Liverpool's defence. And also, when the couple times he did get into a good chance, his final ball let him down a bit, but as he's still quite young, we can't expect him to be always a 10 out of 10, and I felt like he would just do a down game, and it just happened to be against Liverpool. So based on the performance, I'll give him a 5. Moving on into Martinelli, and I thought he was our man of the match today. He was brilliant. His ability just to pass players, and because he can go inside and out, Trent didn't really know what to do with him, and that caused him a lot of problems. And he's also he was helping track back as well. As Tierney came in to mark Mane, we had Martinelli marking Trent out wide, and he done quite well. Trent really didn't get any opportunities to cross it or have any dangerous crosses, and that was due to Martinelli's being able to just close down the ability for him to cross it. So overall, I'll give him an 8 for this game. As against Liverpool and against City, he's proven that he can play in these big games, and he performs better in these big games. And I feel like this is his best game in a while, even without scoring or getting an assist. And lastly, Lacazette. And I feel games like today is when you can desperately see that we need a new striker. But it's nothing new, as we know what Lacazette gives us now. And it's well and good when we're dominating worse teams that don't have good defences. But when you're playing against teams like Liverpool and City, especially when Martinelli's doing these crosses into the box, these low crosses, you want someone to attack it. And that's just not Lacazette anymore. There was times when Saka and Martinelli had the ball on the wing, and I'd look in the middle, and there'll be no one there. It'll be Lacazette just doing his best to get there, but he's not that striker anymore, so he's not able to get there as quickly. So that's just Lacazette now, but we know what he is, and we're going to improve that in the summer. So for this game, I'll give him a 6, as he was still running around, he was still pressing, he was still working quite hard. And the subs, I just give them all a 6, as they came on when it was 2-0 and they couldn't really have an effect on the game. And Arteta, I'll give him a 7, and that's because he went with his own playing style. He didn't see that we're playing Liverpool and go 5 at the back or go really defensive. He went toe-to-toe with Klopp, and that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see how our style of football could go against Klopp's style. And even though we lost, it's encouraging, as we know, especially from that first half, that it can work, and that with better players in certain positions, that the way Arteta plays can beat the best. As I feel like, based on yesterday's performance, if we play like that every game of the season, we can beat more or less every team apart from maybe Chelsea, Liverpool and Man City. And that's good enough to get 4th at the moment, which is Arteta's goal. So overall, from yesterday, disappointed with how we lost, with the couple of mistakes, but overall encouraged that we can get top 4. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.